Welcome to day 2 of the 5-day chatbot challenge. Today we are going into how to leverage the right growth tools for optimized results. Okay, we are going a little bit deeper into the chatbot domination world. And but first, let me just go through a little bit what following from yesterday's lesson. Uh, One of the reasons why you need to really look at touching up your Facebook page is the very reason that it is connected to your messenger bot. And as you can see here, when people engage with your messenger bot, all right, what shows up, the avatar, or rather the photo that goes into the middle part, the circle, as well as the cover image, will be pulled from your Facebook page. So make sure that you make yourself look professional. Images that you use, please don't use the blur type or a dog photo or a cat photo and things like that. Use a logo or even your face is fine if this is not really a business, but you're branding yourself as an expert or something like that. So make sure your Facebook page is done up nicely. So because basically the information is going to get pulled into the mobile phone or when people engage with you on the phone, on the page. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So next is growth tools. What is growth tools? You have heard of many things, right? One of the things that you will be getting more familiar with will be growth tools, because whenever you need to create a sequence, when you need to create a series of messages that you are going to engage with your audience, we will be touching growth tools. Growth tools, I need you to look at it as simply a method or an entry point where people will engage with you. Okay, it can be Facebook ads. When they click, and then the moment they click on the ads, they go into the very first message. So the Facebook ads itself is an entry point. Or if you were to give someone else a link, and when they click on the link, they go straight into engaging with you on your messenger chatbot, that's an entry point. Okay, we use growth tool to create that entry point. All right, that's all you need to understand about growth tools. It's just a fancy name, but what it means is just an entry point into your world of automation. Okay, there are basically 13 variations in the growth tools so far in ManyChat, and basically what it allows you to do as you create new sequences or new series of messages. Now, when I mention sequences, right, don't get too bogged down by the word. It sounds complex, but sequence means just a flow of messages. Okay, it's just the way it is. It's a flow of messages. It allows you to create a new user experience for your audience. As simple as that. Because so far, whenever we engage with an ad, all people see are a landing page, a squeeze page, a landing page, a capture page of that sort. So people are basically getting bored with that experience. So a chatbot will allow you to create a brand new user experience for your audience. Okay, and it is also a control experience because you're able to control the whole journey. Now, let's just take a look at scenario A. Scenario A is like, when you go into a store, like the good guys, like Harvey Norman or anything like that, right? You go into a big store and then you're looking for TV. So the employee come up to you and say, "Can I help you?" And then you will say, "Yeah, I'm looking for TV." Then the employee will say, "Aisle number 6, all the way to the back and to the right." Right? That's the usual type of user experience that where we come across when we are going into a store to look for something. Now, the next scenario is scenario B, when the same thing happens. "Can I help you?" You say, "Yes, I'm looking for a TV." And then the employee will say, "Sure, come with me. We have lots of choices to choose from. What size are you looking for? Any specific features you like? What is the budget for this purchase? Let me help you." Things like that. So it creates a different type of user experience, and you prefer to have that most of the time, because they are more helpful. They are more able to service use, because there are a lot of times when we're looking for something, we don't really sure of what exactly, we wanted. We only know that we wanted a TV, but there's so many technologies. There's OLED, there's QOLED, there's what QHD and whatever. There's so many type of technologies, right? You don't know which one will suit you best, right? So a little bit of expertise, a little bit of information from someone who knows will go a long way, will help. Okay, so that creates a brand new user experience, and that's what I mean when I say user experience. Now, in the usual scenario A, this is what I call the uncontrolled user experience. That means you just release that person into the wild within the store, and that person will walk around and they're trying to look for aisle 6 or whatever it is where the TV is, and then they get distracted by, oh, this gadget looks interesting, okay, on another aisle. Oh, okay, there's another promotion over here that they're having a sale on. Okay, that looks interesting. So it gets a lot of distraction. And that's the typical user experience, including in a website. A website has too many things going on, and you don't want to release your audience into an environment where there's just too much distraction. Okay. So what we wanted to do is to have a controlled user journey. That means you will need to guide them from the beginning, then when they enter the store, into the next phase where they see whatever you have, and you control that, in the sense that, okay, we have choice A, choice B, and choice C. And choice A has this feature, choice B has these features, and choice C's have this feature. So the pros and cons are this. So you control that, so they can choose either A, B, or C. The moment you choose A or B or C, it will branch out into another path. So basically, you're hand holding them along the way from start to finish, from awareness to consideration to decision to buying. Okay, so that's a control user journey, and that's what chatbot marketing funnel is able to do. That's what when we talk about sales funnels, like using click funnels, the sales funnel concept is allowing us to do exactly that. So there's no distraction, there's no shiny object syndrome. It is just a controlled user experience, so that we can you can move them along, okay, the purchasing decision. So it's better for both you as well as for your audience, because you don't want them to get distracted. And this is what I mean by a fresh user experience. What you see here is not what an instant messaging app is able to give you normally. Because, for instance, if you were to just use Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever it is, right? You're just texting. Maybe you can put an occasional photo or a video, and that's about it, right? But the moment you integrate your messaging app with a chatbot, you are able to open up a lot of new features in here. So, for instance, not only are you able to put in an image, you are also able to put in multiple choices buttons, or the second image you can see is in a gallery form. So you can scroll left, scroll right to choose the type of choices that is made available in front of you. Okay, so that's a brand new user experience, and that's what I mean. Here is a simple sequence, a series of, now in this case is a very simple one, very simple sequence, and what it does is that it gives you a control option of what your audience will see the moment they engage with you. Okay, I've covered a little bit about this yesterday. Just give me one moment. I'm going to have to move the thing aside. Okay, simple sequence is showing you the very same thing as I mentioned before, a guided or control user experience. Because as you can see, I give them a welcome message, and then I give them 3 choices. So I'm controlling where I'm expecting them to have questions on. And even if they decide not to select any one of these, they are also free to just type in the questions if they have one. Okay, but the moment I presented these three simple options to them, it will allow them to make the decision on what to ask, what to find out more information on, easier. So I'm just making their life easier. So if, for instance, if they want to join the business, or if they want system setup help or whatever it is, right? They just click on the button, and then it will go to the next sequence, and which is presented here. Now, the next one is a little bit more advanced and detailed sequence, as you can. It's basically, I just want to show you. It can be as simple as this in terms of the series of messages that you can create, or it can be more complex, such as this. Okay, this was one of the old sequences that I created in my previous promotion for an event that has multiple level of data capture that I need to capture in order for me to have a full picture and a complete information set, so that I can pass on to my partner company for them to process, so that the registration proper is done correctly, so that they can get into the event properly. Okay, so this is a little bit more complex. It has tagging, it has custom field that I can preset in such a way that the moment they click on something, and I'm able to tag certain things into the profile, so that I know that, for instance, they have selected Melbourne, so I know that they are from Melbourne. You know, the city name itself will be captured and input into the profile. So there are things like that I can do. All right. So growth tools, let's get into the many growth tools that are available. Growth tools, as you can see here, this is part of the interface from within ManyChat. You can see that there's an overlay widgets, there's embeddable widgets, and there are other growth tools. The one with the blue Pro tag on top of the icon, it just means that you need a Pro account in order to use that. Okay, otherwise you cannot use that. You can just use everything else. But as I mentioned before, the free account, well, you can use it to play with it for as long as you like, but it's very limited. For instance, you can only do certain number of tagging. You can only capture a very limited amount of information. You cannot do more than a certain number. Can't remember the exact number. And basically, your ability to expand whatever you need to build is very limited. So you need to go Pro. But Pro by itself is very affordable, because it starts at $10 per month. Okay. So, including Facebook ads JSON. Okay, JSON is just a fancy acronym for JavaScript something something something. There's no point telling you, because I myself can't even remember the name. Okay, but what it means is that it creates a certain scripts that we need to integrate this into Facebook ads as we create a messenger ad, so that it works from within Facebook. Okay, so if you want to use Facebook ads in this way, this is the very first way method that Facebook created for messenger ads. That means you create Facebook ads meant for messenger. That was the first time when they do this, and we need JSON in order to do that. Without the Pro account, you're not able to do JSON ads. But good news is that things has changed tremendously since then. You don't need JSON anymore. All you need is a link. Okay, so we are not going into that deep. We are just going into setting things up. Okay, very simple setting things up. Okay, so the next thing is you only need to, we're only focusing on a few. We don't need to do bar, modals, slide in, tick over, box, button. Button is powerful. However, embeddable widgets for button is buggy, in the sense that Safari are not, there's certain updates in Safari that has prevented buttons to work properly, and we are not going to use that. So there are only three growth tools that we need to look at. Okay, Facebook ads JSON, specific to Facebook ads. The landing page, which is also a squeeze page. That means you can pretty much, if you want to, you can replace your landing page with these landing page built within ManyChat. It's a very simple version. I'll show you an example. Messenger ref URL is the most flexible, and that's what I love to use the most because it is very flexible. You can send people directly to the link, and it has direct access to a control flow. Landing page, you can still send people to the. I'll show you the difference. Okay, then you understand. Now, let me just show you an example over here between the differences between a landing page as done the traditional way. Either you use ClickFunnels or you use WordPress or you use lead pages, whatever that is. A normal landing page will look something like on the one on the left hand side. Okay. You can also build a very simple landing page, not as complicated as the one on the left, a very simple one, but you can basically have the ability to build a landing page from within ManyChat, and it looks something like on the right hand side on the mobile smartphone. Okay, so that means it is as powerful as that you can actually create a landing page itself. Okay, let's begin with the walkthrough so that I can show you exactly what I mean. And let me just escape from here and I will show you here. Okay, now when I talk about ref URL, right? Just imagine that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, right? These 5 boxes are the series of messages or the sequence that I mentioned to you before. We call it flow, okay, or the sequence over here is the same. Okay, this one. Just imagine that this series, the first series, second series, third series are the same because they can be the same. The only difference between a ref URL is it goes directly into the first sequence. Okay, the first message. With Facebook Ads JSON, you're basically building an additional message in front, right in front. Okay, an additional message right in front because you need that in order for the Facebook ads to interact with so that they can send people to the first message, which is over here. Okay, and the landing page, the difference in the landing page is there is an initial state and there is a submitted state. What you see here, the first page over here is the initial state. Okay, which means the first screen before they click on anything. And I'm going to show you right now what I mean with the this one. Okay, this is my actual, it's a similar one as that one. It should be this. Copy the clipboard. And I'm going to go here. Okay, so this is the initial state. Let me just move in and you imagine that this is the mobile, okay, mobile experience. All right, so okay, so this is what it looks like. So if I were to click on send to Messenger, now, as I mentioned before, this is the initial state. That means you haven't clicked on anything, now you're clicking on something, then it will move to the submitted state, and this is the submitted state. So there are 2 additional pages in front. The moment you click view in Messenger, you will see the normal view in Messenger view, okay? And this is it. This is the view in Messenger. This is the first opt-in. So let me get back to here, which means what you have seen here is the initial state and then the submitted state. So the only difference is for landing page is these initial 2 layers in front. Okay, that gives it a sense of a landing page. What happens is that it will go into the remaining series of the messages, and they all can be the same thing. Okay. All right. Okay, they can all be the same thing at the back over here. So that's the reason why I like to use ref URL a lot of times, for the very simple reason because I can get people directly straight without all the fluff or the fancy things that they need to show and click, and they go straight into the sequence itself. So that's the reason why I'm going to just do one thing, which is a ref URL for you guys. Okay, so build a, wait a minute, walkthrough. Okay, the walkthrough, what we are going to do is this. One second. All right, so the walkthrough I'm going to show you is this. Let me just get back in here. I'm going to do a walkthrough, the actual walkthrough of creating a sample sequence of messages, okay? Now, before we even start, let's go to the growth tools, right? And use another account. Before we even start, before we even begin to create a growth tool, you got to understand, you got to have an objective in mind. You have to have an idea what you want to build in mind. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to create the series of messages, how you want to control the user experience, okay? And you also need to understand something. The way you talk to your audience is very different from the way when you do email or from the way when you do a phone call or any other method, because we are texting. Imagine we are texting, so the communication should be as short as possible, as conversational as possible. Okay, you got to learn to also respect your audience so that you don't be too pitchy, you don't be too salesy, and you provide as much value as possible. All right, okay, so that you don't damage the relationship. So let's just begin by creating a new growth tool, because I know what I wanted to do. Like, for instance, I'm going to build uh, something which is a depository of all the videos and all the slide decks that I'm going to give you in this course, so that I put it in one link and one series of sequence messages, so that you always have one link and go and access to all of them, rather than when I send you on a daily basis, the replay link is on one area, and then the slide is on one area. Now, when you go to one single link, you have access to everything. So that's one of the objectives that you can come up with. So let me go to ref URL. Okay, I just click on that, and I'm going to rename this as my resources vault. Okay, over here, rename on top. Then I'm going to come down here and click on edit, confirm. Okay, always remember to save. You will forget to save, it will ask me, and then you'll automatically save that. So let's begin, right? Again, you can use the basic builder, which is, let me start with the basic builder, which is one panel by one panel by one panel at a time, or you can go to flow where you can drag and drop and move around, like that. Okay, so let's begin. Welcome, first name. Now, the first name, what you can do is you can always use this. Can you see this little icon in the middle over here? Now, this allows you to select the automation of automatically populating it with first name, last name, full name, page ID, all this stuff. Okay, so normally we just use full name. Thank you for subscribing. We are not thanking them. This is basically an depository vault challenge. Okay, the name here is only for my reference, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to tell them, welcome to the 5-day challenge resources vault. Now, normally I will leave this be. Whenever I'm talking to someone new, co-audience, I always have this in the very first or second message, because I want them to know that they can unsubscribe by just typing stop. Okay, this is a very good thing to have. Now, in this case, I'm not going to put that because you guys are already in. I don't think you want to unsubscribe. You have already seen this before. This is for students. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, for instance, the full resources, the full list of replay videos and slide decks are available below at your disposal. Okay, as simple as that. Now the next thing I do is what I wanted to do is, of course, add an image, because I'm going to separate them to day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, so I need 5 images, right? But no, let's do one at a time. Now I need to go and grab my image, which is day 1. Okay, day 1, one image, as simple as that. Now I need to add a button so that I can have a replay video link. Now, the other thing that I can do here is put a space, and then can you see this smiley icon? You can also get it from here, the smiley icon, okay? Emoticon. I click here, I'm going to look for a film or a video icon. There you go. That's a replay video. Now, next I need to go and find my link, which is my replay video link. And I open website. Done. Okay, it's just as simple as that. It's really not complicated at all. That's why I mentioned several times, you can actually do this without coding. Can you imagine you're building a bot right now, step by step, without actually touching a single line of code? This is amazing. So okay, so this is done. I'm going to add another video, because now I want to put in the slide deck. Okay, day 1 slide deck. Now over here, I'm going to put in a file icon. Okay, this one. Okay, then I'm going to, I'm not going to do call, share this card, buy, send message. I'm also going to send them to, a link. So when you want to share a link, you need to open website. And my link is this one. Enter the website address here. Done. That's it. Okay. So I can also go to day 2. So I repeat the same thing over here. In fact, I can just, can you see this duplicate icon here? I just duplicate that. And all I need to do is just change this to image 2, day 2. Now I haven't created day 2 yet, so I'm just going to use this as a temporary measure. Okay, and of course the replay video for day 2 is not ready, so I'm just going to remove this and put a hex to it. And the slide deck is also not ready, so I'm just going to put a hex to it. So you get an idea of how easy this is to create. All right, and let me just publish this. Once it is published, it is live, and let me just preview it so that I can show that to you. Okay. Move this in the center. Make it big. Oops. There we go. Can you see that? Welcome to the 5-day challenge resources vault here. And the full list of replay videos, blah, 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 blah is here. So I can see this here, I can see this here, okay? All right. Then if I want to do a replay video, all I need to do is just click on this. Sorry, tap on that, and then the video will come out. It's taking a little bit because of the Zoom recording right now. We are live on Zoom, so this is taking up all the bandwidth, so we don't need to wait for it. So slide deck one, let me just go there and download. Right, can you see that? So that's how it works. And you can basically remember to use preview. You must always test everything first before you release it live, okay? So use the preview right up here. So that's it. That's all you need to know for today. And start to play with it, do simple stuff. You will get the hang of it. Okay, so your assignment is very simple. Build a simple ref URL or landing page. You can also do landing page. Let me show you landing page very quickly. Okay, let me go to growth tool and then I create a new one. Oh, let me rename this first. Confirm. Okay, done. Nope. Publish. Vote. Depository. Vote. All right, done. Just naming over here. Oops, not saving. Save. Okay, resources vault. So the next one I'm going to start creating for you is, of course, the landing page. You have the resource vault. I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to show you the flow builder. Okay, the flow builder. Now this is very simple, so there's not much to do with flow builder, but as it can get more complex in the sense that I can click here, and I can start doing another message. That means what I can do here is, let's just say I add something else. Okay. A message over here, and the message can say register to my free webinar to learn more about the power of messenger chatbot. Then I put in a button and I will say register webinar. And from here, I'm going to bring my link, which is my registration, webinar registration. Determination, there you go. Okay, bring that in. Open website. Put that in, and then I do done. Okay, so I'm like I mentioned before, I'm controlling the user experience. Not only I'm giving you the depository, but I'm also giving you an additional avenue to go to for the next level of learning, and that's the webinar. From the webinar side, I can always go into another sequence that that tells them that, okay, beyond learning from this, right, would you like to register into my chatbot domination masterclass, and to actually learn how to build a more complex business related sequence so that you can use that to build your own business, like that lead generation or make sales. Okay, so here, let me just publish it. Send message. Oh, okay, this is the one. Now, the other way to do this is this. I don't have to put in a link over here. Okay, let me just remove the link. Okay, and then if I remove the link, then it's not complete. So what I do, right, this is the power of the flow builder. Let's just say that this is a message that says awesome, name, first name. Here is the link to my free webinar training, right? So then only I will put in the register webinar here. Then only I will put in the link here. Done. And then I will, can you see this? I'm going to pull this, connect this. And that's the beauty of Flow Builder. And you see, I can move this about, I can move this about, and I can relay out automatically. And this is beautiful, very, very intuitive to use. Okay, I like to use this rather than basic filter is panel by panel by panel. Right, I'm more visual, so I love this. This is like I mentioned to you before. You have many ways to do it, but as you build it, you will find your own way to figure out what is more efficient. You need to remember as less word as possible and as less click or tap as possible to achieve the same thing. Okay, in this case, I don't need this because it's an additional step that I don't need. So I'm going to remove it, and I just come back here and open the website. You see, like that. Done. And I achieve that with one panel rather than several panels. Okay. Let me remind you that your assignment for today will be to build a simple ref URL or landing page sequence for a specific need that you think that you may have for your business. Okay, you have an existing business, you have an existing online offer. Think of something that you can build in order to support your audience or including lead generation. Okay, so that's for today, and tomorrow we will go into day 3, how to manage and support your list effectively. So we're going into the list, how to look at your list and how to manage it properly. Okay, so this is list building, right?